It's pod 35, another super loaded pod. Check out the behind the scenes of Singles Day, the Singles Day that almost never happened.
That's right. Also, what's the real secret to winning partnerships?
And what was Anna Leigh's new serve against me and Christine? Was she drunk?
That was wild.
And what is my secret to the only pickleball performance hack you need to gain confidence to beat better players?
Absolutely. All that plus a full recap of PPA Mesa and biohacking your way to success. Jill, it's pod 35. Welcome to the TPL Hive.
Am I the queen Jilly B? Yes, go Bees! I saw what you did there and I liked it, K-Dubs.
This Pickleball Life.
Welcome to TPL, This Pickleball Life. If you're just joining us for the very first time, welcome to the TPL family. We are so glad you're here. Our audience is a smart, empowered, and empowering positive group. Our motto and our mission is simple. Pickleball is joy. Go out and spread it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to a pickleball podcast when you could, in fact, be playing pickleball. Gratitude is the attitude, and we are grateful for you. I'm Jill Braverman, aka your girl Jilly B, top 20 pro pickleballer, former tech CEO and startup founder.
And I'm Kristin Walla, a pickleball-obsessed golf pro, a mental coach, and founder of PB Gods, your one-stop shop for all your pickleball gifts.
We're going to hop into our opening segment in case you missed it, but real quick before we do, we are on a mission to spread the joy of pickleball, as you know. And we have a very big ask of you, an important ask. We've never done this before. And we are asking you to please share our podcast with your 3 best pickleball friends. We want to help players get better physically and mentally and continue to spread that joy. So will you please click share? Send this to your besties.
And if you're here, you're having fun, so why wouldn't you want to spread that joy?
There you go. All right, in case you missed it.
In case you missed it.
Yeah, so from the last event, something I have noticed, all pro players, in case you missed it, especially the younger ones, are wearing protective eyewear. I'd say more on the women's side than the men's, and definitely trending towards the younger players versus the older players. I am
those who have a mommy who's involved in their decision making.
Yeah,
is that what we were saying?
Yeah. I'm definitely going to start wearing eyewear in my next event. I don't know what brand, but
finally
I have to. You've been on me to do it, and I wonder if also subconsciously I'll play a little better because I'll be a little more fearless, knowing those 2 things that stick out of my skull called my eyes. Hey, fun fact. Fun fact, did you know your eyes are the only part of your brain that are outside of your skull?
That is kind of
terrifying.
Interesting. They are a piece of your brain.
Yes.
Like your retinal scanners are straight to the brain.
Straight to the brain.
Wow. Well, I'm for it, and I can't wait to see your new shades. In case you missed it, everyone is driving wild in Arizona. You could be going 90, you're getting passed. No matter where you go. They're just like so excited that they're not in a traffic jam. Let's get there. I didn't see one cop either. Did you see anyone get pulled over the whole time?
That's really funny. I feel like I did. Now that you're mentioning it, no, I did not see anyone pulled over. And it definitely feels like driving in Arizona that too fast is not fast enough.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
All right. In case you missed it, you guys, dinking is dead. You heard it here first. Every tournament I have played this year, every tournament I have played this year, I swear the rally length has decreased like 1 to 2 shots per event. Why? Well, paddle technology is obviously increasing.
You got to point to that first.
You got to point to that first, as you just said. And it's really hard to leave balls. We saw this with like the increase in body bags, right? This is a statistic we need to start tracking every tournament. How many times did someone get nailed?
That's so true.
Where they couldn't get out of the way of a fast moving ball. So
if there's one statistic that points to the speed of paddles, that's got to be the body bag stat.
Totally. So the leave, I think, is becoming the absolute most important shot in the sport. Mark my words. And I think it's just more fun to play faster. So I think players want to play fast because of the paddles, because it's more fun. And third, I think subconsciously easier on your body. There's a bajillion pro pickleball events this year. And you're playing for 10 hours in a day, even in these progressive draws. So yeah, you want to play a little faster because I think it's a little easier on your
Fast
body.
is fun, just like golf. I think we should just cut to the chase, and I'm going to train your body bagging dodging with a Nerf gun.
Oh my God.
Just going to take aim.
I think that's a good idea.
In case you missed it, progressive draws suck, or do they? The thing is, Jeannie Bouchard still has a quadruple bye in singles.
Tell people who
right?
Jeannie Bouchard is in case they don't know.
In case you're living under a rock, Jeannie Bouchard is the great gift of tennis players to pickle this year, right? She is the Sam Querrey of 2024. And of course, they're trying to treat her well.
She's not as pretty,
treat her
not as pretty as
respectfully.
Sam, but
Right.
Yeah.
No one can live up to that 12 out of 10. But I honestly feel bad for her.
I do
because
too.
she's missing the opportunity to beat up on some scrubs and show that she is
notch wins.
more than just a tennis player. Like, I legitimately think if you can get 8 points off of Paris, that she could be beating some, first, second, third round players. And now every event she just shows up, has 4 buys, loses in her first event, first game.
Well,
first
she
match.
has 4 buys. I have 4 matches.
Yeah.
4
Meanwhile, 5 actually.
Qualifying matches.
Yeah. So I will show the graphic of how the like empty boxes kind of look, but you get a few extras in singles for whatever reason. And I think we're going to get back to the progressive draw conversation
A little
eventually,
later. And
but
singles.
yeah.
In case you missed it, the Super Bowl was the most watched. Crazy, we haven't done a pod since the Super Bowl. That feels like a month ago.
Wow. Has it been?
The Super Bowl was the most watched telecast in history with 123.4 million viewers. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we think the most viewed telecast in pickleball history was? 1 million? The last Nationals? I thought I saw
think that thing in
touted
China.
somewhere.
The China thing.
Yes, the China thing. So get this. 28% of all U.S. adults placed an NFL bet in 2023. Placed a bet on an NFL game in 2023.
Okay.
That's
the whole year.
That's 73.5 million people last year.
Wow. That is an amazing stat that if we could get, 5% of that?
For pickle?
Yeah. But also, that means that, what'd you say? 123 million people
tuned in,
watched babies hit pickleballs.
That's true. The eBay ad with the babies.
In case you missed it, your girl Jilly B is playing in Sacktown, APP Sacramento, and care to guess her 2 playing partners? I'll give you a hint. If you add their ages together, you arrive at Jill. And no, Jill is not 45. She is 34, to be clear. Does that mean you're 35 in pickleball years?
It does. Don't age
man.
me. Don't age me. Don't do me like that. So yes, 2 17-year-olds. Drum roll, please. Any guesses?
Not Anna Leigh Waters.
Georgia Johnson.
And
Gabe Tardio.
wow. Such an exciting lineup there. I don't know where I was going to go with that. Stunning lineup. We'll get into a little bit more of Gabe and Georgia later, but super excited to be headed up to Sacktown.
And I think the question you were going to ask me is, am I playing more APPs this year?
Yes. Jill, are you playing more APPs this year?
Well, let's see how this one goes. But yes, it's looking like I'm going to be playing more of everything. In case you missed it, the merger, which we'll talk more about later between PPA and MLP, looks like it's almost done. So it looks like I will be playing APP, PPA, PAP, APA, and every other combination of
Pickle
A's and
IVVA.
P's that you can think of this year.
Totally. A PPA. PPAPA. All right, in case you missed it.
Papa, PAPA. Sorry. Okay, we're
Had
done.
to go there.
Had to go there.
In case you missed it, a female commentator during the PPA Mesa event dropped some interesting statistics about childbearing women that was dropped and redropped by our friends at the Memes of Pickleball and tropical, but apparently one kid increases women's ability to play sports, but that second kid, you hit the tubes.
We're talking about having a child. So the commentator made a comment about Christine Trifinovich, who missed a volley, and she was like, it's because she had that second kid. She would have made that volley if she had only had one kid. It was something along those lines.
So, Jill, are you ready to get pregnant for the sake of your pickleball game?
To improve my pickleball game, I'm already not drinking for 10 months. So yeah, might as well just pop a baby in there.
Might as well. Oh my gosh.
In case you missed it, the Dink Awards have come to a close.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm still on the baby thing. Like, pop a baby in there. Kristin, have you learned some special new skills? How are we going to do this? All right, okay. In case you missed it, the Dink Awards have come to a close, and we want to thank everyone from the bottom of our hearts who voted for us. Thank you, thank you. Congrats to all the winners. It was an honor to be in the running for Best On-Court Antics, Best Podcast, Most Influential Voice. I've only been podcasting for 7-8 months. I've only been back playing for 11.
We started from zero, homegrown, no help whatsoever, doing all the editing ourselves. I mean, come on, give us some props.
Oh, no. So thank you guys. No, seriously, thank you.
No, for
and
sure.
Congrats to all of the winners and all of the nominees.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's clear there's one thing we need to do to win an award.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And that is create our own nomination. So next week on the pod, nominated for Best Musical Intro, K-Dubs.
Announcing the TPL Awards, nominated for Best Original Score, Kristin Walla.
Yes.
Dying.
How about Best Original Decor?
So that's in case you missed it. Now we're going to do quick personal catch up.
Yeah,
so
speaking of decor,
we painted our office for the first time. We painted.
Totally. We've been doing our house in segments, right? We hired a painter to do our room, and then we hired the painter when we redid our kitchen. And then we were like, we have some extra paint. I think we can do this ourselves. This room's not that big. So we start painting. And then as we got finished painting, it inspired us to hire that painter back to do our garage door, which was chipping. And we were like, well, we're already painting the garage door. We might as well paint the rest of the house.
Which led to
us
get some new exterior lights.
Getting new exterior lights, new numbers, do it all. I actually had already done the door handles, so now
and
we
then
just
when
had
we
deal
went
with
to
that.
put the office back together after painting it ourselves, we realized
why do we need an office?
let's switch the second bedroom into the office and make the old second bedroom a gym.
Yeah, why not? I'm into change. You're into moving. I get to use power tools. It's a total win-win-win-win-win.
So serious question, does anyone else like to modulate their furniture in their rooms in their house every 6 months? Just change everything?
Is this
just us?
There's no one in the house to say no because we're both.
Thing?
Yeah, okay.
Since we don't leave
try
the house,
this. Let's try
we have to reorganize the house. That's...
Yeah, also, serious question. Is it bad feng shui? Is it feng shui or feng shui? I never know. This is
I'm going to give you a pass.
bruschetta.
I'd say feng
shui. Is it proper feng shui to have a desk in your bedroom?
I think it's
I
fine.
feel like our audience knows. We're going to find out.
Well, it ended up giving me a gym, removing the desk.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
going to go ahead and
definitely
say,
a lesser of two evils or a win-win situation. So excited for the upgrades. Every time I walk by that new guest
Sparks
bedroom,
joy.
I'm excited for our future guests.
Most importantly, the cats love it.
Should we say who our first guest is going to be?
Yeah. Caitlin Christian is coming into town. We're going to talk a lot about her on this podcast.
She's going to get to test the difference between the rooms. We're gonna sleep test her. We're gonna get her what do they call that? The Nuva ring, the mood ring, the tracker sleep ring,
Aura
ring. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Right.
So, Jilly, what is our theme of the day?
It's the theme of the day.
Our theme of the day is the mental pickleball hack that you need to know.
Wait. That sounds like a title. What is our theme, though? Mental hacking?
Well, no. So
Biohacking for pickleball.
If you would let me like finish the sentence.
Never.
Ever. Girl cannot get a, Jilly B cannot get a break here.
Look, I've got a rainstorm and an IQ in my system.
Oh my God.
There's no stopping me.
Okay, theme of the day. How to beat better players.
Okay. I'll accept.
And we're going to talk about PPA Mesa right now and how that theme kind of presented itself there in singles.
So to rewind, how to beat better players is have to play 4 warm-up matches before those better players. So you are really keyed up to go. And they're like, I don't know, pickleball? What's
This
that?
is the pickleball hack you need to know. It is the theme of the day, how to beat better players. And we are going to get into that right now because it has to do with PPA Mesa. So let's talk about PPA Mesa, which will weave into theme of the day. I felt like this was another super strong start to the year, 3 in a row. Let's go with the singles cherry on top. Oh my God, singles. So if you qualify from the depths of qualification hell, clawing your way out, you have to play 4 rounds in one day. And you know, Kristin has been begging me to play singles. And I think I realized why. Because she's not the one who has to play it.
Yeah. No, in my case, I just watch you run right and left all day, getting balls that I can't believe anyone could get, let alone at age 34 with no kids. You don't even have that one kid boost. But every time you haven't played singles, it's been like, oh, I was going to play singles, but we made it so far in the day before in mixed.
Too tired.
Like
too tired.
I'm going to be too tired and it's going to compromise my performance in that other thing. So next time finally comes and we're like, okay, you probably shouldn't play singles because for the first time ever, you made history. There was a qualifier for women's singles. First time in history. APP or PPA. They've never needed a qualifier, but this time they needed one. And this time is the one you broke that cherry.
Love it.
But you actually tried to withdraw and they said it'll be a $250, 250 point fine.
I woke up in the morning and I just was not feeling it. So I texted the player services representative and it's like 6:30 in the morning. My match is at 7:30 and I'm like, I'm withdrawing. And he writes back and says, Jill, there's going to be a $250 fine and a 250 point reduction. And I was like, so I'm going to go to negative 250? That's actually
I literally
a lot
was
of
wondering.
points.
Yeah.
And so you look at me, you're like, Jill, let's just go. If we leave right now, we're going to get there right before the match. I'm like, I'm not even going to have time to warm up. I haven't eaten anything. Like it's, 50 degrees out. I'm going to pull a muscle. Like absolutely not. So of course we go.
Yeah.
This qualifying queen is on the way to the first round qualifier, 7:30 a.m. Arrival time, 7:28. We're going to make it.
So we're midway. We're 10 minutes into the drive, watching like rush hour traffic going the opposite way.
And I get a text.
You get the text from the player services rep.
And
who's
he
like,
says,
oh, Jill, I just realized you were asking about the qualies.
I never thought you'd be in qualifying. You can pull out.
Yeah, there's no penalty. And I was like, well, I mean, we're already on the way. And you were like, we're going. I'm in. Let's do this.
ETA is 7:28 for the 7:30 match, which
And
leaves me 2 whole minutes to go pee and tie my shoes. Like that's plenty of time.
I think I can make up at least 2 minutes. We got you 4 minutes prior to your start. Do they have a rule, by the way, in pickleball? Like in golf, it's legitimately 5 exact minutes if you don't show up before you tee off and then you're DQ'd. Otherwise, you just get a 2-stroke penalty. Is there like a loose sort of, I was trying to get there on time?
You're asking the wrong person, sister.
There are like no rules in racket sports. Golf is just like it's like the difference between the Spanish dictionary and the English dictionary. There's 3 times as many rules.
So we get there at 7:26. You got me 2 extra minutes. We videoed
Had time to go to the bathroom.
I run to the court. Look at the referee. They're waiting for me. And I'm like, so could we have maybe a 6-minute warm up, which is a pretty generous warm up? And God bless the referee who acquiesced. And it was a very quick match. Thank goodness.
Yes. It was good to see you back out there.
Dusted the singles cobwebs off. No warm up.
Yes, you are such a natural on the court in singles. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I know it's brutal on your body, and I support you and all the things that you need to do to be your best and to maintain your health and all the reasons why you might not want to play singles. But it was great to see you back out there. And then fortunately, you just kept winning, so you had to keep playing.
It was, I don't,
Well, and the other thing
beware
was-
kind of like the semi-injured, doesn't want to be their pickleball player. And I ran into like Anna Bright at some point through the day, like I can't remember, maybe after my second or third match. And she was playing singles for the first time in a while too. And we kind of looked at each other, and I think she said something like, yeah, I'm playing singles, but I've got no expectations, so probably going to play good. Like,
Yeah.
And there is something to be said about like, kind of don't want to be here, kind of not feeling great. Like, all right, whatever, let's let it rip. Like how Jaume said when he played singles at Desert Ridge a couple weeks back and he was hurt.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm just
big.
gonna hit the ball as hard as I can. Why don't
big
I
or go
play
home.
like this all the time?
Yeah, totally.
So it's kind of funny because Tyson talked about in one of his post-match interviews, I think after his mixed doubles quarterfinal match, how tough it is to be a 1 through 8 seed. Let's really think about that. How tough it is, woe is him, to be
no
a
warm-up.
1 through 8 seed because you don't get a warm-up match.
rhythm.
Meanwhile, I'm like a battered wooden ship in a biblical storm, clawing my way through singles qualifying.
Does anybody have air relax?
And so after each singles match, our great friends Emily and Ben, who inspired us to do the podcast, are like bribing me to keep going. Like literally
Like a
how you would
toddler.
bribe a toddler with treats. It's like, well, Jill, if you play well this match, we might just
Give
dump
you a
our
lollipop.
really awful Airbnb and get you a nice hotel. What do you think? Okay,
Clean
one
sheets.
one more, and we'll
No
get you
mold.
we'll get you a hotel.
They're the best. Oh, but yeah, it's a lose-lose. And it's like you have to play so many matches. They buy all the way in and
It is a
feel like they
lose-lose.
don't have
It is
a
a
rhythm.
lose-lose.
And I would love our smart audience to explain to me why if you want 16 people to have a bye, you don't just start them in the round of 32 with the other 32 people, or 16 people rather. I don't know. Is there some mathematical reason why that's different?
Well, we've talked about this before. The progressive draw is really a staggered entry draw, right?
Yeah.
You're staggering when certain players come in. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but when Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic meet each other in the finals of a major, they've played an equivalent number of matches.
Yeah. I think it literally does mean that they have more people in the main draw.
So yeah, tell us what you guys think in the comments about the progressive draw.
Yeah. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it better? Could it be better? I think there's a version of it where it is better, but they're doing it in a way that maybe isn't ultimately the best. But it is a lot simpler sometimes to just know, like, I'm playing mixed on this day, playing women's on that day. All your event in one day, or one of everything every day, which turns into 7 of everything. 7 total.
So touching on the theme of the day, in one of the pro singles matches, one of the girls against whom I had played came up to me after, and we had this kind of Dear Jilly B moment. She said, I'm a great singles player. I know I am. But when I get on the court with a better player, for you, for instance, we just played, I have this feeling like I don't belong and then I don't play my best. What advice would you give me? So this is the pickleball hack you need in your life. This pickleball hack is available to anyone. It is completely free. This hack reminds you that you are the placebo, in the words of Dr. Joe Dispenza. So the simple trick to feeling like you belong and beating better players is telling yourself that you belong. I am. Okay, those 2 words, I and am. They are maybe the most powerful 2 words in the English language, at least as it relates to sports psychology. There have been so many cognitive studies done to determine that there is a really minimal difference in your mind between an imagined experience and an experience that has actually occurred. So really think about that for 1 second. This is why visualization, meditation, these are such powerful tools because you can trick your mind pretty easily into believing in an imagined scenario. So when we use words like I can or I am, and we visualize very strongly the outcome that we desire or the way we want to feel, we essentially trick ourselves into believing that. So anything you invoke with the words I am after, harnesses the power of manifestation, and the universe will make that come true. So, you can call that, woohoo, voodoo, whatever, or you can set an intention right now in your life and allow the universe to work its magic. So that might mean for you playing better players, it's I belong. I am deserving. I am good enough. I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of Dr. David Cook's hierarchy of volition, the power to choose. And it's that on the other end of the spectrum, I can't, I won't. And then there's I can, I will, I am.
I can, I will, I am.
And it always comes back to that idea of confidence.
Yeah.
You're like conning yourself into believing in yourself.
What's a con man? A confidence man.
Yeah, shockingly few people know that.
And all of a sudden, you're not nervous playing better players when you start this I am and I can trick. So remember my all-time favorite phrase. It's not cause and effect.
It's causing
In effect.
Not
cause and effect. Causing in effect. So really think about that. You cause the effect you want. And by thinking you belong out there, you will belong out there.
Yeah. I always like to think of it as you affect the effect.
I love that. Where has that been, Kate?
I don't know. I discovered it last week. It just popped out of my mouth in the middle of a golf lesson, as things do. But yeah, it's so true. I mean, I've heard this from different, mental coaches for years and years, that idea of seeing is believing, believing is being. And if you can convince yourself that you are, if you think you're going to miss, you're going to miss.
Yeah.
Every putt's going in the hole until it doesn't. Every passing shot is hitting the line until it doesn't.
It's funny because when I do play golf, I don't think I do this in pickleball as much, but when I play golf and I stand up to make a 10-foot putt, I'm surprised when it doesn't go in.
Exactly.
And you taught me that.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. So I hope that you can find the am, the be, the you are your own best champion.
100%.
On the golf course too.
So also obviously played women's doubles and mixed. For women's doubles, I thought we were playing at 4:00 on Tuesday because Pickleball Bracket said start time 4:00. And because
I even went to the desk and asked, but I clearly asked the wrong question.
And because we're still blocked on social media of all the PPA social media, we don't see the draw, and the draw isn't super intuitive on pickleballbrackets.com.
Yeah, because on pickleballbrackets.com, sometimes they say round 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they say round of 32, 64. And then you're like, wait, was round 1 the round of 128, or was round 2 the 64?
So Christine and I ended up having a bye, so I feel bad. I told her to get there, by 4:00, but we didn't end up playing, which is fine. She had to play at 6 in mixed, and I had to play at 6 in mixed.
But you did have a full face of sunscreen on, ready to spectate.
Oh, that's right. I was so angry because I put on sunblock. That's right. And you guys have not seen anyone put on sunblock until you see me put on a face of sunblock.
It is a part of Jill's identity. The fact that you don't have a sunblock sponsor is really testament to the fact that you will not just use any old sunblock. You have to have the ultimate control over what goes on your face. It is true.
I've got my mix, and no amount of money is going to make me change my mix. So in women's, we met our habitual perpetual fate in the round of 16.
Not to mention your habitual fate of Dana Rogest.
Yes.
3 in a row.
3 in a row tournaments playing the same player, Dana. So we buy and then win 2 matches, and we play Anna Leigh Waters in our perpetual habitual fate and Catherine Parenteau. And I love this story so much. This is my favorite. My favorite story from the week. Anna Leigh tested out a new serve strategy against us. It kind of looks like a sideways volleyball serve. If you backed up,
the running, jumping kind of volleyball serve.
Yeah, if you backed up all the way to the video board, took 3 shots of vodka, and then ran drunkenly sideways to hit your serve and hit the side of the ball. So I almost missed it because it was very distracting. It was very jarring. I was very confused by what was happening. And in her post-match...
Hindrance. What is she doing?
And
She's stomping her feet too loud.
in her post-match interview, she said she hadn't made one of these serve attempts in practice, but she got out on the court and felt comfortable enough to try it and, quote, "It worked really well and I didn't miss a single one." And it harkened back to when I played Anna Leigh in my last singles tournament, Nationals 2 years ago in Indian Wells, and she was moonball serving me. And in her post-match interview, she says the exact same thing. Yeah, I was trying this in practice. I felt really good in my match against Jill, and I'm, really happy that I was able to make these, and it obviously worked. So I personally, Kristin, am just so happy that I can create such
Cocoon of love.
warm and fuzzy feelings and a warm and fuzzy, easy cocoon and atmosphere for Anna Leigh to demo all her new crazy shots.
You are that 1/3.
Oh, I'm just playing Jill. I'll just close my right eye,
Hey,
tie
maybe
one
let's go
hand behind
backwards.
my back, maybe serve backwards next time.
One-legged? Oh my gosh.
And here's what happens.
I
High
was thinking the
likelihood
exact
of
same
winning.
thing. Totally. The funny part for me was I was so busy taking photos of you that it wasn't until midway through the second game that I looked over and watched her serve for the first time the entire match. And I was like, turned around to our friends and I was like, has she been doing that this whole game? And I have not noticed.
I was
They were like, yeah, this whole game.
my attitude in that match was I was really ketone IQ'd up. If you guys haven't heard us talk about ketone IQ, you're going to hear a lot about it.
I really
It
like
is-
that. I queued up.
I was
it's like
I
cued
was,
in.
I was so cued in. So it makes me crazy zen, really predator mode, predatorial, hunting the ball, very in the zone. Usually people like seeing me play because I'm energetic and animated and, kind of, having a good
Fun
time,
and
right?
wild. Yeah. I mean, after all, you are the most electric woman in pickleball.
Thank you. I need a legitimate news source to say that so I can, I can start using it.
Totally.
But
Wall
I'm
Street Journal.
I'm definitely my most deadly when I'm locked in and not very emotive. And if I'm, but I guess my advice to everyone would be dance with the girl you brought. I'm a really big believer in that. There are matches where I'm super effusive, funny, relaxed, probably more that way in singles.
Yeah.
So is Jaume.
I was just going to say, we just had this conversation about Jaume and his singles attitude being so loose and laughing.
Yeah. But if I'm locked in and predatory and that's what I bring, I don't try and manufacture a different attitude. I just dance with the girl I brought.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Every day's different.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit of your conversation with Lauren about their match against Hayden and Maggie. And she was like, Julian just went 8 SHIT or whatever.
Yeah.
He just played singles and he found the thing that he thought he needed in that match. And that's what worked. And, like you said, the 12-footers going in until proven otherwise.
And in my singles matches up until I played Ava Ignatowicz, I'd been really calm, slow-mo, laughing. And then in the Ava match, I don't know if you remember this, but I hit my leg with my paddle twice as hard as I could and screamed multiple times, wake up, wake the F up. Let's go, wake up. I needed a very, very different energy in that match.
Totally.
I needed to be slapped in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was tired or what, but
I got a few good pics of your slap in the Mary match that left quite a welt.
oh no. Maybe that's why my leg is red a week later still.
I do believe that it was the Mary match that really set you over the hill. I think you were wearing leggings during the Ava match, but you were not wearing leggings, so there was no barrier to entry.
But the human body is literally the most amazing thing in the universe. I thought I was gonna, after 4 singles matches and 2 mixed matches, and I woke up the next morning and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play, Anna Leigh, Catherine, and Mary Brasha.
You found a way.
The body's just incredible.
Yeah, and I was like, let's just take this one decision at a time, and one match at a time, one game at a time. The human body is amazing, but also Beamer, Air Relax, creatine, ketone IQ.
And we're going to talk more about biohacking and our bodies in just a little bit. So
But
just to finish Mesa, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, if you really think about what is going on in our system at any given moment, we are temperature regulating, we are hormone regulating, we have self-cleaning abilities. And some people even, and this sounds like a joke, but I've heard this from multiple scientific sources, have the capacity within themselves to create many of the over-the-counter and prescription drugs that we take, as well as psychedelics.
Christine Maddox, my partner in the past 3 events, is a Reiki energy healer.
Yeah. Yeah. And she can do it over the phone. Amazing. Which is to say, like, if you're cued in, tuned in, and on the same wavelength, we can make amazing things happen with our brains.
So on to mix, played with the Jaume Martinez Vic. We went through qualifying. Don't get me started on that, because I am still tabulating points and still finding that unless I'm doing the math wrong, the points that we have should not be putting us in qualifying. So I've been reaching out to Bryce Morgan about this, CEO of the PPA, trying to figure this out.
Am I going to have to do another chart, another deep dive into the points list?
We played against Maggie Brasha and Hayden Patrick Quinn, a great team. After playing Hayden at Nationals in November and getting hit in the face, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, I had, against his backhand flick, I had a mental and physical preparation going into that match, and I was a reset queen. He stopped attacking me because I was like, all right, I'm just going to reset it. Maggie Brasha did awesome. They had a little bit of like a slow start. We won the first. And then I thought she was just Jaume's daddy. Like, she did amazing handling his attacks and was winning hands battles. And, you know, they were just too good. There's so much parity on the tour, so many 3-game matches. It's kind of becoming like, you know, who brought it today? Who was on today? Who had a 1% edge, which makes it even more impressive when you see the same names over and over in the finals.
Totally.
You know, it makes those teams so impressive. Anna, James, Ben, Anna Leigh, Thomas, Vivian.
Yeah. No, it
J.
is.
Delvin, Georgia.
There's so many strong teams now.
Yeah. Big serves. That is a continued theme. You guys, if you are not unleashing on your serve, you are missing out. You know, it was a 10-9 on a 1, and I said to Jaume, hey, should I crank my serve, right? And I did, and I missed it just long, like barely long. And I looked at him and said, hey, at least I went for it. So I think give yourself, we ended up winning that game, thank goodness. But like give yourself permission to miss and ask yourself, like I do this in golf, where do I want to miss this? How do I want to miss this shot? So bring that same attitude to pickleball. Hey, if I'm going to lose this match, how do I want to lose it?
Do I want to miss it tentatively into the net, or do I want to rip it as hard as I can?
Hey, if you're going to
lose, for a winner?
Lose it on your own terms, right? Like we had a plan going into Anna Leigh and Catherine. We stuck to our plan. We got absolutely slaughtered. It's okay. Like they're an amazing team. They're 61-0. Actually, no, 63-0. It was really funny actually on the video board as we're going into we switched sides. And so now I'm looking at the video board at the start of the second game. And right before I serve, it says Anna Leigh, Catherine Farento, undefeated in every match they've ever played, 60-0. And I'm like, that's the motivation I needed right now, right before we start the second game.
If only Leigh Waters had not torn her ACL.
Oh my gosh. No. So, she's such a good player in her own right. Are you kidding me?
No, totally.
But so ask yourself, hey, if I'm going to lose this, how do I want to lose? So for me, I want to lose being aggressive, not tight, not tentative. That means dinking aggressive. It doesn't mean just like speeding up crazy shots from my shoelaces. No, it's just this feeling of like want the ball, go to the ball, be aggressive, take control. And you can do that on aggressive third shot drops. Like it means all of your shots, your serves,
Absolutely.
your returns, like miss it where you want to miss it, which should be long.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Long until it's every time long, and then you need to adjust your targets. But it's the idea that Tom Kite always said, there's no such thing as a conservative swing, only conservative targets.
Love that.
Everything is aggressive.
Love
Everything
that.
is conviction. My
Love
favorite
I
word.
love the golf stuff today.
Oh, well,
K-dubs.
thank you. Thank you. I do what I can. I know what I know.
So some other Mesa points. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone who emailed us, came up to us. It's so fun to meet you guys. Mike, I'm going to butcher his last name,
Gagnon.
Gagnon.
I'm going to assume that it is a French pronunciation.
Loved all of your emails. Sorry to miss you on Friday. We left really early in the morning. I loved meeting Linda. Such a joy. You snagged one of our very last Mexico spots. Congratulations. And love the story you shared with us where you felt like pickleball was starting to lose some of that joy, and you actually ended up traveling a little bit, an hour, hour and a half away to find a new pod of players and like rediscovered that joy. But it took you this moment of like waking up to like, oh man, I'm not feeling like I used to feel with this group or how I used to feel stepping out on the court. So like, good for you for recognizing that and finding that joy again.
No, it's an interesting thing that I think happens to people in all walks of life and friends. You fall into a certain group of people and then you feel like you're stuck, and you look around and sometimes realize like these are not the joyful people I want to be around. And I will say that pickleball in and of itself is a great way for people to meet a whole new trope of people, or if they move to a new city. But it's tricky when you're like in this group of people who keep inviting you to their games and you want to be somewhere else. So good for you for being brave enough to branch out.
And thank you to Ron and Wendy.
Look at these
keychains.
Weekly keychain. I mean, Ron and Wendy, if you don't have an Etsy shop up, what are you doing? Let's go. Who doesn't want the cutest, like monogrammed, perfect? I even love the font.
It's yellow, but it's in the shape of a pickleball. One says K-Dubs, one says Jill or
Jilly B.
And then, of course, we have, if you're not watching on video, the Ron and Wendy Toby keychain for our orange tabby that you sometimes see on video. Yes, we have 3 cats. We are crazy cat ladies.
We are. Toxoplasmosis, let's go. So Jill, do you want to show our newest and latest and greatest Ruck product?
This is super cool. So this is an ice shaker from Ruck. So insulated, large, probably like what?
I think that's a 20.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It's more than meets the eye.
Look at the bottom of it.
Or should I say ear? Yes, it is a Bluetooth speaker. So you can just set that puppy down on the side of the court, chug your water, chug your electrolytes, chug your rainstorm, your ketone IQ, and you got your speaker blaring for all your friends.
It actually is really cool because I find that when I show up to pickleball, I'll be like, oh, my portable speaker is dead, or I forgot it. But it's like, you're not going to forget your drink if it's combined with your speaker. And I know that probably sounds...
And it won't be dead when it's combined with your solar bag.
I know. It's brilliant.
So it's a very symbiotic relationship.
I can't wait to see how loud it gets.
Yeah. No, I tested it the other day. It's pretty great.
The Bump Box Ruck Ice Shaker.
We should play our theme song on that. So if you guys are interested in the ice shaker, right now there is a Ruck Pickleball bundle where you can get the solar backpack, the speaker, and a Ruck hat, which is over a $300 value. And they are giving this pickleball bundle away. So head over to the ruck.pack Instagram to sign up for that and get your pickleball bundle. Yeah.
Nice. So it looks like we have a MLP PPA merger update. It does look like it is going through. And not only is it going through, it might be going through in the next 48 hours. So today is Tuesday.
In the next 48 hours or 48 years.
It seems like all players have accepted a reduction or a buyout or some type of new company agreement. And there are some who are keeping their current MLP agreements from what I understand.
So what has been the holdup, just as a refresher for our newbies?
So there's been, 3 key issues, one being Duper.
i.e. Duper was part of MLP. It's all Steve's ideas and merged together. Then the unmerge was like, wait, do we still want Duper as the PPA NewCo idea?
Part of the merger agreement between MLP and PPA was the adoption of Duper. And then I think at one point, Tom Dundon was like, no, I want to do our own rating. Pickleball Brackets has a rating. So I think that was an issue that has been solved for. And then 2 was letters of indemnification, which we've talked about. So Tom asking all the team owners to indemnify him from past and future actions. And I believe that has been resolved. And then 3, these player contracts. So wanting to create millions of dollars of cuts on these multi-year player agreements, which was done through a combination of reductions, a combination of buyout agreements, and it looks like those are pretty much done with only a few players keeping their current agreements.
So the big question on everyone's mind. Did you take a deal, Jill?
Oh, that's funny. Well, if I did, I wouldn't be able to talk about it, as
Okay.
I'm sure you know. And maybe maybe I would tell you.
Okay, maybe later.
I'll whisper in your ear.
Don't listen.
I would say I am playing APP this year, PPA, being able to have, my freedom and do what I want, which is really exciting. And, I always think about the player collective and how proud I am of all the work that all the players did in the past 3-4 months.
And it's about so much more than just these contracts.
100%. 100%. And the collective was never anti-merger. Remember, it was always, let's have fair negotiations. Like, make us fair offers, fair deals. We talked about this on the podcast. Like, hey, offer me XYZ, offer all the players XYZ, and you'll have all these contracts done.
Yeah.
So I think everyone started listening to the podcast. What can I say?
What can I say? So next up, are you super stoked about our next few events? Where else are we going?
Next up, APP Sacramento with Georgia Johnson, Gabe Tardio. Let's go. And congrats to both of those players. If you don't know, Gabe Tardio and Andre Daskew took out Ben and Colin Johns.
Yes, big props.
Georgia Johnson and Mari Humberg tore it up, took third place, beat Vivian David and Anna Bright for the bronze medal match. Let's go. We did say on our last podcast, 5 players to watch on the female side. Georgia Johnson was number 1.
There's our girl.
I think I said in that podcast, she is the best player behind Anna Leigh Waters. Female player.
Yep. So
Did we have Gabe Tardio in our 5 men to watch? I think we did.
I think we might have.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I've got PPA Raleigh coming up with Caitlin Christian and Augie Gee, who, by the way, Caitlin made it to the round of 16 in singles without a left thumb. No, she didn't have it surgically removed or cut off, but she did break up a dog fight to save her dog's life.
Crazy.
As another dog had its jaws around her dog's neck. So as such, she had to get stitches 3 days before the tournament on her left thumb. So she played the entire tournament, all 3 events, with a one-handed backhand because she could not get her left hand, which is in this huge, it's not a cast, but like
it looks like a
cast,
cast, but it's gauze and then it's blue. So it looked
I had to do
way,
that,
but thank God it was her left thumb.
I know, but if I had to do that, my right arm would literally fall off. So huge,
Totally.
Huge respect and kudos to her. She's coming to train in the desert this week, so I'll hit every return to her backhand.
Absolutely.
Then we have PPA Los Cab or Los Angeles with Martin Emmerich and Caitlin Christian. And then PPA St. George with Rachel Summers and the one, the only lefty righty, who knows, Jack Monroe. So have you noticed anything about my next male partners?
They're young and they're lefty and they're running around the court.
Let's go.
Get back to Jilly B on the left side where she loves to be.
Super excited. No, I've actually grown to love the right quite a bit, and I'm happy I flexed those muscles, and now I'm excited to see if I,
Can get back to your old roots.
get back to the old roots on the left. We'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, super stoked. Yeah, I had forgotten that Martin Emmerich was lefty. Another great bonus. Big props and big flops. We got into a little bit of some big props above, but I wanted to give special props to Millie Bobby. No, not the character from Stranger Things. I'm talking about Millie Rane and Bobby Oshiro, aka Millie Rain. But the real pronunciation is Rane. Come on, let's be honest. They took down not only Elise and Megan, but also Leia and Lauren. And then they got 10 points. They lost 12-10 when they played CP and AL in their first game. So say hello to the new alpha females of pickleball.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did
Yola,
there?
alpha paddle,
See what I did
alpha
there?
females. I see what you did there.
I think this is okay to say, but we ran into Leia and Lauren as they were about to go play, and they were like, we're wearing glasses. We're putting on the glasses for the alpha paddles. Big
And
props.
by glasses, we mean protective eyewear.
Yeah. Big props to Jack Monroe, who made the quarterfinals with Julian
Go,
Arnold.
Jack.
And big props to Rainstorm for finally taking a page out of my brainchild and creating their best flavor yet.
The best flavor yet.
It's grapefruit.
Let's
it's
go.
orange. It's called Citrus Zest. Get your hands on it. They also have another new flavor called Kiwi Guava, which also tastes amazing. So try them all. Big props to Andre and Gabe, who made it all the way to a silver medal.
Amazing.
And super excited to see what they have going all year. I think they're going to play most of the year together. Big flops to our Airbnb. It was another disappointing Airbnb experience, but
Airbnb's getting like worse.
I think
like
it has to
Uber.
do with the fact, Uber. What were you going to say?
You have this like democratization of technology, and now, like, 15 years after Uber starts, it's as expensive as taxis and the service is terrible, and you have like the same exact thing happening with Airbnb. So whenever you have these like industry disruptions, it just seems like
taxes.
Yeah, it seems like, the government
And restrictions, like our neighborhood, you can't rent for less than 30 days.
That's what I mean. Like the government catches up to like, how do we either get a cut of this or make this so difficult for both sides of the users that like the product just diminishes and price increases. It's just so sad. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've come to the conclusion that at its heart, Airbnb is about staying in a house with a person.
I kind of agree.
Having
so I
the
actually
whole house
have
to yourself.
noticed this. Like we have definitely, this is a total tangent, but we have been Airbnb-ing like more like casitas or apartments or homes. And the best experiences I've ever had in Airbnb were inside a house with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time.
So big flops to the commentating. We mentioned earlier some weird mentions about childbearing as its corollary to performance, but should be interesting to see if we have a noticeable difference in tone next week or next event. Speaking of babies, did you see Thomas Wilson's baby? Got hit like 2 out of 3 points in a row.
I'm glad it's
in
all
center
smiles,
court.
and I'm glad we can laugh about that. I
I
don't
did
think
talk
the
to
baby
him.
was like actually hit, but yes, a ball from Jack Sock's blistering overhead landed either close or on the family.
Yeah.
Twice.
Either way, get a helmet on that kid.
On the topic of Bobby and Millie and Gabe and Andre and Florida, we have a by the numbers.
By the numbers. By the numbers.
So
Yes.
in case you missed it, Florida is dominating professional pickleball. Pools of competitive players make each other better. So ask yourself, who are you playing with? Right? We always talk about a third, a third, a third. You want to play a third at your level, above your level, and below your level. We have these pools of competitive players. We have Austin, Texas, Florida. But Florida to me...
And not to mention Utah.
Right? But Florida to me is totally outpacing other geographies. So look at the data. J.W. Johnson, Dylan Frazier, Gabe Tardio, Andre Daskew, all in the finals. They all train together. Anna Leigh, Catherine versus Anna Bright, Vivian David. You've got 7 of 8 finalists within 20 miles of each other. Okay, is this
So to be
coincidence?
clear, Anna Bright and Vivian don't live near each other, and they lost.
Yes, I wasn't quite going there. I don't think you have to live next to each other to win, but maybe you do.
Well, if you look at the
Yeah.
medalists from PPA Mesa, only 2 did not live in the same city.
Wow.
And that is Anna Leigh and Ben. Okay. And then
Wow.
Mari Humberg lives in Kentucky, but I wouldn't be surprised if she spends a ton of time in Florida too.
Wow, that's amazing.
And not to mention, we've also got Millie Bobby. We've got Arnold and Monroe in Austin. We've got Jansen Stratman. We got Bright Ignatowicz living in the same house.
Yeah.
Stax Rutelas, basically brothers. Arnold Stratman. I already said that. No, I didn't. I said Jansen Stratman. Wright Kovalova, Pat Smith, and de Villiers running it back
Yeah.
for the Wichita
Well,
boys.
it's-
and then the siblings, Brashes, Johns, Kawamotos.
It's a really
and we've got
interesting
Walkers.
point because, I think, Jaume talked about, I want to like play with as many different partners, male and female, as I can this year. And, that's definitely a strategy. That's something I did like my first year of pro, or I should say, not the past 10 months, but before that, I feel like I played with a lot of different, actually, yeah, no, in the past like 11 months, I'd say, it's a strategy, but what I am noticing, like the data literally shows, like you want a steady partner, like you want
Yeah.
to be on the medal stand, like You want to live next to your partner. You want to train with your partner. You want other
ESP.
players against whom you get to play who are really good.
I mean,
That's what I see.
yeah, there's a familiarity that really is an unspeakable, unknowable sort of extra 0.25 level.
Like when I think about, Christine Maddox, who's just going to be so, so good. And we've played 3 events together. I'm like, she's local. Like, oh my gosh, we could train 3 days a week. Like that brings up a team's duper 15%.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, even Jack Sock and Colin Schicker, an hour and a half away.
Oh, interesting.
That's a lot of, I think, why they ended up playing together.
So we have a performance biohack of the week. So this section used to be called recovery tip of the week, and I am calling it performance biohack of the week.
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Nice to be in orbit.
Do you want to talk about the inspiration for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been on like a nootropic cognitive function optimization kick lately. So like
because why not? Why not be the best version of yourself, of your athletics self, and of your mental self?
Let me ask you listeners this question. When you play and your mind is quiet and your reactions are fast and you're like, oh my gosh, that was like the best pickleball day of my life. Wow. What is that? 1 out of 10 times for you? 2 out of 10? 3 out of 10? We've all had those days,
Yeah.
Kristen. We've all had those days.
Totally. All my lobs are in.
Why can't it be every time? That's the chase. That's what I've been looking for in the past 2 months. Like, I've always admired Tyson McGuffin because he's got all these recovery devices and recovery sponsors and these really strict regimens of like, here's how I warm up, here's how I recover. He's 34 years old, but he's playing all 3 events and he's just getting better and better and better. And we're the exact same age, even though I thought he was way older. So I kind of like followed him early on and copied a lot of what he was doing, but I ignored this like other half of the puzzle, which is your mind, your like inside your body. And so I have been on this like supplement diet, like kind of like journey hack, and the post-recovery expensive toolkit and stack becomes less relevant as your body gets stronger and your mind gets sharper, and you recreate these days where you feel freaking limitless. Where the ball's moving in slow motion, your reaction time's 40% quicker, your brain isn't doing monkey mind, it's laser focused. And I think I have figured out basically how to get there. So for this week, I want to share with you guys some products and supplements and stuff that I've been doing and finding a lot of help from Ben and Emily. Thank you for giving me recommendations. So for this week, I've got 2 performance recovery hacks. So one is straight from Dr. Cynthia Baccaro, the pickleball doctor. She is a chiropractor in Newport Beach. She has helped me tremendously. When I thought I would literally never walk again after singles day and playing from 7:30 to 5:30 p.m., I took a concoction that she advised me on. So it's at night magnesium, L-theanine, and GABA to help sleep and recover. So that combination of pills was super effective. So again, that's magnesium, but it's a glycinate. Normally magnesium kills my stomach, but the glycinate doesn't. L-theanine is super helpful. It's an amino acid in green tea. It slows down your brain function by relieving stress. It improves your mood, helps you maintain normal sleep. And GABA is your cell's inhibitory neurotransmitter in your central nervous system. So it lessens the ability of a nerve cell to receive, create, or send chemical messages to other nerve cells. So it produces like this very calming effect. So those 3 things taken in conjunction helped me turn my brain off in a really like positive way, calmed me down.
Yeah.
Because usually after a really intense
Got you
match,
out of your head, kind of.
Totally gets you out of your head because you're sitting there, your eyes are open, the lights are off, and you're like thinking about the dink you missed in the net on game point. And that just like kind of calms everything down. The other interesting thing about Mesa, which is a huge performance recovery hack that every single person listening can take from, is I didn't cramp, which is pretty rare after like a 10-hour play day. And it was pretty warm on that day. I played 10 hours, and I'm attributing that to 2 things. I went in super hydrated. I have not been drinking alcohol for the past month. As you guys know, if you've listened to the last couple pods, they say hydration starts 3, 4, 5 days before an event. And I think I felt that lack of alcohol and just being super hydrated. And fun fact, did you know you lose 1 pound of water per night during sleep with respiration and perspiration? You could lose up to 1 pound.
That is so much more than I thought.
So this tournament, I replaced what I normally drink, which is liquid IV, with Salt Stick and Redmond's Relight, Relyte. It's the cleanest electrolyte mix I've been able to find. It tastes like pure salt if you get the unflavored version. And you know Redmond's Real Salt, you've probably seen that brand at your local grocery store. So they stand for quality, mineralized, minimally processed sea salt. So they've taken that salt and they've made literally like the cleanest electrolyte mix. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say Liquid IV, but that's a brand. Electrolyte mix.
Yes.
And yeah, it was the first time I didn't cramp. So those are my
So you
recovery.
use Relight and Redmond's.
So Relight is made up of Redmond's.
Okay.
Sorry.
Redmond's is in Relight already. Okay.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
using,
Well, and I think a lot of what people experience with all of these different electrolyte powders is they're all trying to appeal to the taste of the math.
and these masses, and these do have flavors. These do have flavors. I did unflavored.
But
there's no sugar
point
in them,
being
which is
that
great.
that they're not overly sweet, overly flavored,
super
right?
clean.
Where you're like, what else is in here to make it taste like this?
Yeah.
Like pure goodness.
Yep. So I have
awesome.
about 10,000 other hacks and things I did. Obviously, Ketone IQ, completely obsessed. And we're going to talk more about my stack on the next pod and what I have been putting in my body that's helped me become this like super laser focused, clear thinker, better reaction time on the court.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's tricky sometimes to pinpoint what's doing what because the lack of a problem is hard to pinpoint. It's like, you don't cramp. You're like, what didn't cramp me? And that's the trickiest part, I think, of all of these recovery hacks.
Well, I think I've done a good
being
job
able to
of
consistently
slowly introducing things to determine their efficacy. And I want to share that with our listeners.
Totally. I mean, I think cramping is one of the most common issues in sports and in pickleball. And when it happens to you, it's so debilitating that you'll do anything. So anything that can help is huge, I think.
100%. So we hope you found this podcast educational. Thank you for listening. And remember, pickleball is joy.
Don't let anyone tell you differently.
We out.
This Pickleball Life is a Tomahawk production, 100% organic, self-made, and homegrown. Music by K-Dubs, editing by K-Dubs and Jilly B. Check out pbgods.com and use code PBLifers for 10% off your next order. Do you have a question for Jilly B? Email us at thispblife@gmail.com to be included in future episodes. Don't forget to click subscribe.
This Pickleball Life.